like what we have covered in the last theoretical session. If you have any questions for me, please come back.
Maybe you can start with the revision so that, yeah.
No problem, ma'am. I'll do it. No problem at all. Yes, any questions? All right. So let me ask you, can you tell me what is OSI and why OSI? Can you tell me what is OSI and why OSI? Anybody here? What is the full form of OSI?
It's a layered protection for antivirus.
No, not for antivirus. Anything which is related to, I mean, just because it is open house for cybersecurity doesn't mean that I have talked about the cybersecurity as an OSI. Even if you are implementing it plain without security, still the OSI is there. So if you don't have antivirus, still I have OSI. I told you it is a layered architecture. And it is open standard. And since it is open standard, you have the devices which always follows this. So what are the devices I have told you? The network devices, which understands IP. Anybody? I had a lot of discussion. I'll show you the lab, but somehow the lab softwares are not able to initialize, but I'll wrap you around through the concept, like why I am teaching you the network.
MAC address.
I'm asking you about the devices where the attack is possible, where the attack is not possible. What are the devices where you define the policy? You have forgotten everything, I can see. Switch, router, security device, firewall, intrusion prevention system, intrusion detection system, PC, server, IP phone, IP cameras. Everywhere the attack is possible. सब जगह है ना attack तो possible. And there are devices. इस पे भी तो attack हो सकता है. There are devices which prevents attacks. नहीं? IPTVs. So anything related to the IP world can be easily tracked onto. Why? Because it has an identification. And who's going to define that these identifications is following some standard model? This guy. He is defining the communication, as I have lastly told you. What is defining that how the communication is taking place between one source to another destination. How many layers it has? I have told you that day. See, if you have to enter into the cybersecurity world, take it a note out of it that your network basics has to be very good. If you don't know the network, I cannot teach you cybersecurity. Because आप बचा किसको रहे हो? कैसे बचा रहे हो? How you are preventing it? You are preventing it all because of that you have some concepts about the network. What? I'm going to attack MAC. I'm going to attack IP. I'm going to attack the specific identification of any device. Identify, how you will identify the device? You don't know IP, you don't know MAC, you don't know port, you don't know any service which has been left open. So when you are not aware about the basics, there is no point of talking about the security anyhow. Because first you should know that how it has been built up, how it's been communicating, then only there is a sense of securing it. Otherwise attacks तो होते रहेंगे, फिर आप बैठ जाना शांति से. There is no software. I mean, softwares are there which are going to prevent it, but at the same time, being a cybersecurity engineer, what is your role? How you are going to dig it out? Okay, this is an ethical hacking. Let's say something has been done. Let me quote you an example. Murder हो जाता है, right? So what happens? The police comes, the investigation team will come on to the point where the incident has happened, and they will try exploring out all the facts. But how? Because they have been trained as an inspector or as an investigating officer. That's why they have such more experience, that from the inspector or probably into the police commissioner and something like that, he has gone into this CBI, right? So I want to dedicatedly work for the investigation purpose, right? Similarly, the cybercrime works. Something has happened, but you don't know the background of that something. What? आपको IP नहीं पता, आपको port नहीं पता, आपको device भी नहीं पता, and how you are going to crack it out? Just because, okay, this is a software who is probably going to analyze and give me certain details, but what details? You are blank. So tell me the OSI now, how the source to destination communication was happening. What was the first layer? Let's say you are sitting on your system. What is the first layer which you opened here? Application. Because first of all, you will, whenever you want to attack something, you will open that application and then only you will perform some attack. No? Yeah, ऐसे ही कर दोगे. You will not be able to do it ऐसे ही, right? You will be open that application. The user interface will be in front of you, and then you do something, right? What comes next? Presentation. System is going to convert it into its own presentable form. It assigns a session ID. So till here, it's all data, as I have already communicated that day. It has headers, but it is all layer 7. It's all application layer headers. Now this application header has some malicious link in it, right? That is understandable. Why? Because as a user, you understand URL, you understand application, you have been back and forth opening certain kind of the websites, so it's very easy for you. But as a cybersecurity engineer or ethical hacker, is it the only thing which is going to suffice, that okay, this is a particular URL and I don't have to click because some AI engine has told me this is a suspicious activity? How you are going to be accountable for that, and how you are going to ethically treat it? You have to get the details. You have to read the details. You have to read what kind of the Trojan virus was there, right? And from which system it was coming from. You have to dig a diaper into it, and then you will get certain information. But the problem is that आपके basics ही clear नहीं है. So how will you get the deep dive into it, right? What happens next? What you will check with respect to an application? Next. Anybody?
Transport.
Very good. Transport. What happens at transport? Very
End-to-end
important thing.
connection.
Yeah, go ahead.
End-to-end connection.
Perfect. Anything else which the application is being attached with, which is very important for the type of the application?
Segment.
Network.
Go ahead. How do you check that your application, that what kind of the attacks your system is prone to? That day also I have told you. कैसे check करते हो? How even a hacker checks that, okay, this is through which I can get into this particular system?
So IP address is open.
ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर पे हूं मैं, आईपी कहां से आ गया? I am at the transport layer. From where this IP is coming from?
TCP.
And even if I give you an IP, how can you check that this particular IP is prone to attacks? आपको कैसे पता चलेगा उस IP के बेसिस पे? You can get the details, fine, right? But how you can check that it is prone to attack? What is the attribute which is going to tell you, okay, this system is prone to attack on these particular things? Where I can do? Port numbers, remember? याद है कुछ? Port number. Nmap दिखाया था ना मैंने? You remember my Nmap? I showed you my own IP. तो देख लेती हूँ, क्या पता कुछ और ही मिल रहा हो मेरे सिस्टम पे IP. 29.1. It showed me the open port. IP के basis पे नहीं पता चला. You have not got to know about the basis of IP. That this is prone to the attack. This is based on the port. Which port number is open for this particular IP through which I can get into the system? Maybe FTP is open. I can send a malicious file and it will accept. Maybe 8443 is open. Maybe some another port for some another service is open. So who decides this? This guy. Transport. Port numbers comes here. Very important from the security point of view. And if you will open your Windows firewall or Defender, you can create the policy for the port numbers. You can even create the policy for the application that I want that FileZilla should enter or FileZilla should not enter, and what from where it should not enter via public or it should not enter via private. So you can make these kind of the profiles in your command prompt. What comes next? Till here, it's all data. Data is having source port and destination port. So this becomes a segment, I told you. What comes next?
Network.
What happens at the network? Good. Go ahead.
IP address and packets.
IP address, which makes the packets, and anything else?
No, ma'am.
Routing. Policy. Do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. I want that my ping messages should be blocked. What is ping? What is ping? Let's say I have a server placed in X location. I have a server placed in Y location. I have internet in between. What is ping now? Tell me. This server is sitting at 192.168.1.1. This server is sitting at 202.1.1.1. Can you tell me what is ping here? This is a network layer protocol and it is very, very risky, high risk to security. We always block this particular guy. Why? Because ping talks about reachability. That means go, touch, come back and show me the latency in what time you have got him touch and coming back. And I'll give you 4 times. 4 times I'm going to go to this particular destination and I'm coming back. So what is the risk here? Anybody can tell me what is the risk if I'm going to say that, okay, fine, let me quote you an example. I have a Google data center, right? I have this data center connected with the help of some L3 switches. These are certain switches. Don't see L3, L2 because right now you are not probably trained enough on that. Here are certain Gmail servers, right? And let's say this is Gmail server and here it is a DNS server What is the role of DNS, everybody? Anyhow, can anybody tell me the DNS role? What is DNS? Domain name server. IP to name directory, or name to IP directory, or name to IP directory. Right? So these Gmail servers go and ask this routing device, router, to go and route it via internet to somebody who has been placed in, let's say, some organization. Let's say I'm working with IBM. I have IBM. So here is my IBM router. Here is my switch. And here are we as users. Now, one user out of my IBM needs to access this Gmail. And the IP which is being given in the DNS server for the gmail.com is 202.1.1.1. And my IP is 192.168.1.1.1. This is 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, lot of IPs I have in my local environment. Share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
No, ma'am.
अच्छा, नहीं दिख रहा क्या? एक मिनट. यार.
Yeah, hi. Hi, everyone. I got kicked out somehow. I don't know how. All right. So, what I was telling you is DNS, right? So, DNS is a directory. I'm restarting my machine so that I can write. But DNS is a directory where you can have all the IP to name mappings. Now, what if uh, if you remember, I have told you a website where you can get all the details of a particular domain. Anyone? What is the website which I have used in my last session which tells all the details of the domain? Chat पे लिख दो. You can write down on the chat itself. Whois.com, right? If you remember. Any other website which I've shown you last time? I've shown you two websites which gives me the details of the domain. Anybody? Ashmit, बता दो. कैसे चलेगा cyber security ऐसे? How can we run this session like this if you're not revising the earlier things? Anyhow, it's on you, but it's an excellent upcoming field, and I sincerely believe that you should all see the basic details first. I told you NS lookup. I told you who is from there. A hacker can get all the details of the domain, and it will keep on trying that. And we'll keep on trying that. What if it is going to click or attack this particular website? Because see, precisely if I'll talk about the big giants like Google, like Facebook, like Twitter, like IBM, Ericsson, they're all secured. I know they're going to secure their websites, but what if an application I can try somewhere from my Kali Linux system or probably my Metasploit server? I might have certain exploiting tools, right, where I can just try so that nobody can get my identity and I can fetch the information of a particular website, and I'll try attacking it. Now, how can I attack it? I'm not going to throw stone on it. There are certain measures through which I can attack this. Can you please let me know what kind of the attacks you can do on a particular IP address or a domain? कैसे करोगे आप attack? How will you think that you are going to attack? Zap, I told you. Very good. Very good, Ashmit. All right. Anything else? Very good. Zap is one of the tools which I've shown you last time to attack. Right? There are very basic things wherein you can do the attacking. Sending the ping, right? Ping is, what is ping? Go, touch, come back, right? So everybody is probably, let's say I am sitting somewhere in China. There are certain users sitting in America, certain users sitting in North India, certain users sitting in European region, somewhere in New Zealand, right? So they probably try to first of all ping gmail.com and then they will start working on it. But what if the intention of a user is bad? What if they are just going to use this ping 10,000 number of times to a legitimate server, a genuine server? So what will happen? That Gmail server will keep busy replying that attacker instead of the genuine users, right? And as a result of which the session gets hanged and the Gmail server will not be able to provide its legitimate services. So this is an absolute reason why your ICMP or your ping request is blocked. It is the most risky protocol. So your firewall will never allow the ping. You should always block it in an enterprise network. Right? Please allow me, ma'am. Anybody who's acting as a host of this particular session. Swati, ma'am, there. Please allow me. Make me in.
Yeah, Tapovardhan, please give access to Aparna. एक बार चेक करिए प्लीज.
मैम नहीं आया मेरे पास अभी.
एक मिनट. श्रेया.
Okay, what is SSH and Telnet? Last time in my session, I have told you. See, this is an open house session. So I really want you guys that you should participate and you can ask me the questions. What is TCP? What is the difference between TCP and UDP first? Tell me. There are a lot of TCP attacks, no? आपने सुन रखा है, right? How come? Because if you are going to study ethical hacking, then you should know all these details. If you don't know these details, then there is no point doing ethical hacking. Let me to be very upfront to you. So we have source till destination. The communication is from the application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, physical. This is what we have studied last time. And from application, presentation, session, this is all user data. Here you will be attaching a source port and destination port with the data. It becomes a segment. Here you will be attaching this whole thing with the source IP, destination IP, and becomes a packet, right? And here you have the full packet as a source MAC and destination MAC to become a frame, right? This all you should know, right? Because you have to be a good ethical hacker. आप कहाँ पकड़ोगे? Where you will try to track that particular hacker? Somewhere on these layers, somewhere related to the details on these layers, right? And then zeros, ones. But if you don't know the basics of these layers, there is no point talking about any ethical hacking. Because ultimately you are going to see the details. Whenever a crime thing happens, then the people, investigating people, go to the site
where the crime has happened. Try to figure out all the details. Try to realize all the details. But as network cyber crime engineer, what you will try to see, you will try to find out all the details. But what kind of the details you are going to get out? Because you have to understand, right? Here I had TCP and UDP. What is the difference I told you? Here I had multiple applications. Which applications I have told you that day? How can it take you ahead if you're going to forget the last things which I have taught you? HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, Telnet, SSH, DNS, DHCP, NTP, SNMP. These are all protocols. Right? These are all protocols. And these have defined port numbers, predefined. That's why OSI and standardization all across the globe. So if your machine is accessible and has the policy to access www.google.com, so port number 80 is open. If your machine has an access to go HTTPS accessbank.com, port number 443 is open. There can be incoming connections to my servers. There can be outgoing connections from my server. You need to check that rule, that policy. FTP 2021. In an investigation site, whenever the crime happens, you will always try to find out, ना यार यहाँ पे कौन आया था, कौन गया था, इससे पहले कौन खड़ा था, who all has come in and going out before the crime has happened, and who was there at the point of time when the crime has happened. Same with the network cyber security world. वो ही कहानी है, ऐसा नहीं है कि कहीं मैं बाहर से पकड़ कर ला रही हूँ. The only thing that is a regular word and this is a networking word. How can I identify a user? How can I identify what action he was doing that time? How can I identify how he has gone out and how he has come in? How can I identify that who all were there at the time of the cyber crime has happened? IP address के basis पे, MAC के basis पे, ports के basis पे, applications के basis पे, isn't it? Telnet is 23, 22, fixed. These are all fixed across the globe. They are fixed. Nobody varies them. They are fixed. They are fixed. Who's this guy? Telnet and SSH. Again, if somebody has tried logging into my system from SSH, that means my port number 22 is at risk. Why? Because it is open. Right? Because it is open. How can I identify with the Nmap? With the Wireshark? A lot of tools in the market to analyze the traffic. Even I have a lot of command lines on the command prompt where I can see the open ports. TCP UDP difference I asked you. TCP means I am getting an acknowledgement for whatever I am sending. I am not getting any acknowledgement for whatever I am sending. Right? And what is the difference between SSH and Telnet? SSH is remote login, but encrypted. Encrypted. So it's secure in itself. But definitely from cybersecurity point of view, nothing is secure, right? So if your system has
port number 22 open, so anybody can log in and can take a remote access of your system, logging into your via SSH. एक फाइल भेज देगा आपको SSH से पोर्ट नंबर 22 ओपन है, आपका सिस्टम एक्सेप्ट कर लेगा. सिंपल है, बड़ी सिंपल सी बात कर रही हूँ, राइट. एंड टेलनेट इज नो एनक्रिप्शन, नो एनक्रिप्शन, राइट. Fine. Ping is perfect. TCP protocol makes three-way handshakes. One hello goes from server. Hello. Request. This is where I have to transfer my file. Destination. Or let's say I need to transfer my file to again Gmail server. And here I am a genuine, I'm a genuine user, right? And every day I'm sending him requests, he's sending me reply, and I'm sending an acknowledgement. Every day this is happening. Right. One day I thought of doing something bad, right? मेरे दिमाग में कुछ आया, मैंने बोला यार आज इसी को तबाह करके रहता हूँ. I will spoil this. I'll crash this server so that nobody can access it. What I have started doing, I will start him sending 20,000 requests. He will give me replies, but I will stop sending him an axe. This server will keep on waiting that, oh, I have to establish a connection with this guy, but he's not responding. As a result of which he will stop acknowledging anybody else. Attack. Holding the services. Attack. Right. So like this, we have various types of the attacks. What if I'm going to send from somewhere, ping, 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 ping. Again 20,000. And he is going to reply. As a result of which he will stop replying it to the genuine servers. So these are different attacks through which you should always see that if my security level has been implemented or not. All right. Fine. Any other questions you want to ask me from the OSI? These are the open port numbers, and anybody who's there he's not going to tell you that what this port number is for. Anything you would like me to ask here? What are the type of attackers that day I have told you? How many type of the activists you can see? Very good question. What type? What type? B, which is good. What type? Good. Black, gray, and white. Good question. Fine. What is NTP? What is NTP? Google कर लो यार. इतनी देर से आंसर क्यों, इतना टाइम क्यों लगा रहे हो? You can do Google. You can let me know what is NTP. Network time protocol synchronization. What if my devices are going out of sync? I will attack this NTP server. My whole data center
in somewhere in North America will go down if I will attack the NTP server. And all the services with respect to this will be going down. Huge attack, major attack. DNS is the highly risking again. Why? Because DNS has the records, and if I manipulate the DNS records, right, and I'm trying to send some URL to connect to a website, right? So what will happen? That particular website is going to start responding to me, right? As a hacker, it will stop responding, going to a genuine website. Right? So DNS can be played upon. Then you can have a lot of attacks like scripting. You can play along with the script. You can insert a malicious code in the script, which is known as XSS scripting attack, right? Anything you would like to add on or ask me here? How many bits in IPv4 addresses? कितने bits का होता है? 32 bit. 32. What is the difference between private and public IP address? Very good, Ashmit. 32 or 128 bit. Difference between private and public IP. I'll show you one thing. I cannot show you the lab right now because my system is different. I have not installed the softwares here. But let me show you one thing here. See this. If I'll ask you that in this topology, somewhere I am going to attack on some inside Windows machine from outside, right? Where I have a firewall, I have a router, I have the DMZ zone. That is actually, this zone is the zone which both the outside as well as the inside people can access. So there are certain servers which is being kept at this zone, which is accessible to all. Now, what will you do? What are the parameters you will see that you can do here? Right? How many checks you will do before you will ensure that nobody will get in here? Right. So there are a lot of checks. You can go into your Windows machine. You can always say that my Windows Defender is on, my firewall should be on. And what if they are off? What if they are off and as soon as you are going to make it on, they are going to scan certain kind of virus for you, right? I mean, any kind of a virus means some malware. Yes, Ashmit, your statement is correct. But what if I get to know somewhere your private IP? Private, as the name says, it's private to you. Public means publicly available. मुझे आपकी private IP पता चल गई. अब क्या Ashmit? What is the next thing I am going to explore on your machine? There are a lot of security measures we take, right? So first thing is, if you can see my screen, first thing is the thing. Show more is not here. Oh, it is here, I think. Yeah. See this lab. This is a good lab. I don't have an access right now, I'll tell you. See what we are doing it here. We are getting into the Windows Defender. I'm assuming that my Windows Defender is off. We are trying to get into the Windows machine, and I'm getting into the D drive where some directory is there and there is some malware which has been placed. Right? I will copy this malware and get it onto the desktop. And I will change certain policy that Windows Defender should be, I will see that it is turned off right now, right? And what I'll do, I will disable it and make it on, right? I found out that, okay, fine, the Windows Defender was off. Because of this, there is something which has been happening. Now let's make it on. Let's see that how it works. So once you are going to make it start, you will scan the start now, and you will start seeing that there are these executable files, which is found as a malware on the desktop, right? So you will find that in the quarantine folder, and you will start exploring that there is a Trojan inside this particular malware, which is Win32 slash SWAT A. You've started exploring it and make it again, you go back on this malware and start scanning it so that it becomes more faster, right? And you have started exploring this malware with some Windows Defender program in the command prompt, right? To get the files out of this. Now there is one file you have got here is mp support files.cap. That means there is a particular file in this malware which is making this happen, right? That Windows Defender has particularly find out for you. So this is how you can get. Why I am telling you all this is not to make sure that you know how Defender works or how antivirus works. वो सबको पता है. The idea is to make you thinking like as a cyber engineer or ethical hacker. भाई आप क्या क्या डिटेल्स निकालोगे ना, कुछ हो गया मेरे सिस्टम में से कोई फाइल गायब हो गई और मे बी सर्टेन ट्रोजन इज कमिंग थ्रू विच समथिंग इज हैपनिंग. नाउ हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू मेक माय सिस्टम ओके, हाउ you are going to get the details, okay madam, this is the file that was going wrong and now you can correct it and we have removed and make it okay. So these are the certain things which you can get out from the logs and say that fine, my Windows Defender is absolutely working fine, we have deleted it from the base machine, right? So there are files which you can see it in the more detail, right? Now, second thing is the firewall. Fine. I have seen the Windows Defender. Windows Defender is fine, which is giving me all the purpose what an antivirus can do. Firewall, can anybody tell me what is firewall? What is firewall? Why firewall? When I had Windows Defender, firewall की जरूरत क्यों पड़ गई? Windows Defender तो था ना? Why firewall now? Do google.com and let me know what is the difference. What is the role of the firewall? Google करो बताओ मुझे कोई भी.
Barrier of unauthorized users.
Right. Barrier of unauthorized users. How it gets to know that these are unauthorized users? कैसे पता चलेगा फायरवॉल को अश्विन? बढ़िया बोला आपने, बिल्कुल सही बोला. आप लोग बेसिक्स पे ध्यान दो, साइबर सिक्योरिटी तो अपने आप आ जाएगी. साइबर सिक्योरिटी में कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ नेटवर्क है पूरा घुसा हुआ वहां पे. And certain commands are there which is helping you to just attack. That's it. How a firewall blocks and identifies that this is not good or this is good or this I will allow or this I won't allow.
To applying security policies.
Right. Policies. That means firewall has certain policies which can identify, okay, this I have to permit or this I don't have to permit. है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
So firewall never scans you. Firewall का काम तुम्हें स्कैन करने का नहीं था. स्कैन करने का काम किसका था? विंडोज डिफेंडर का, एंटीवायरस का. You are entering an airport. Who scans it? You. Metallic detector. Who makes your note that you are in or you are out? Metallic detector वो काम नहीं करता. Some security guard or some security persons who enters that he is into the airport now. Stamped. खत्म काम. And he's clean. वही है नेटवर्क का भी. So if you will start mapping the real time world with the cyber security world, ना same चल रहा है. कुछ difference नहीं है. The only thing is that there the knowledge has been very plain text, different, which we all use, we know, we understand. But इधर मेरे को network समझना पड़ेगा थोड़ा. Then I can understand this, right? So what is the difference between private and public? Again the same question. अब यहाँ पे भी आ गया private public. अब आप क्या बताओगे मुझे ये बताओ. You are setting up these policies for your system. ये मेरी सिस्को की पोर्टल है which I'm showcasing you. ये मैं सिर्फ प्रोफेशनल्स को शो करती हूँ. मतलब very high end professionals who are performing the cyber security. But I find it very good for you and that's why मैं आपसे शेयर कर रही हूँ यहाँ पे. Private public. Private is private to you as its name suggests. Private. सिर्फ आपका, बाहर किसी को नहीं पता. ये प्राइवेट हाउस है, बाहर वाला आदमी नहीं आ सकता. नो अदर पर्सन कैन गेट इनसाइड योर हाउस बिकॉज इट इज योर प्राइवेट हाउस. पब्लिक, एवरीबडी कैन गेट इन देयर. होटल है, सब जाओ, पब्लिकली अवेलेबल है भाई. राइट. सेम विद अ फायरवॉल. प्राइवेट के लिए पॉलिसी बना रहे हो या पब्लिक के लिए बना रहे हो? यू कैन टेल योर फायरवॉल प्लीज अलाउ ओनली द प्राइवेट आईपी टू एक्सेस मी. That means who's sitting somewhere on my local area network. You can always define the policy. Please allow if any request for FTP, file transfer or FileZilla is coming from the public IP. ये तो आपका rule है. You have to define. If you are defining it for the public IP, anything from outside can access your file via file. Anybody can transfer some file to you, right? Why? Because you have made the policy to work like that. If you are defining the policy in your firewall कि भाई मेरे अंदर local area network में से ही access होना चाहिए, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. तो यही बना रखा है इसने. यहाँ पे देखो प्राइवेट आईपी के अंदर गया, देखो क्या गया. ये आपको पता है ना, नेटवर्क एंड शेयरिंग सेंटर, राइट? कंट्रोल पैनल में जाके you can see the unidentified network. It is always public.
right? You can change it, this particular unidentified network, to the private network as well. Okay? And you have started running PowerShell. कुछ आपने एक PowerShell means getting into the shell of your Windows. And you have run this command that I want to set my connection profile to the private category. जो भी unidentified network है उसको private category से map करो.
तो चल रहा है क्या?
Right?
अरे तो मैं डायरेक्ट
Just one second. So, okay. Windows firewall, I get into my Windows firewall state is on. Incoming connections, block all connections to the apps that are not on the list of the allowed apps. So you have to make sure that if your apps is not being defined here, you will be blocked for all the incoming connections. But you can allow it. An unidentified network right now is all private, active private network, right? Any questions here? किसी को कोई questions हैं तो पूछ लो. ये बड़ा basic बता रही हूँ मैं आपको जो आपको समझ में आए, right? I'm not talking from expert cybersecurity professional point of view. ये तो आप रोज करते हो ना, right? I have started pinging it from one of my another machine to my Windows, right? You can see the stop pinging is not happening. Why? Because my unidentified network is private. तो private से नहीं लेगा. आप क्या करोगे, इसके अंदर जाओगे, allow करोगे, you are allowing an app FileZilla server, that too on the private network, right? You will start doing FTP to that Windows machine and it started working. Why? Because you have allowed from the private machine inside my Windows to the private machine inside Windows, right? मेरे local area network में 2 machines बैठी हैं. What? My inside can have, it has inside Windows and it has one inside Kali. ये 2 machines बैठी हैं. एक बैठी है 10.0.6.11 पे, एक बैठी है 10.0.6.10 पे, right? So that means when anybody from the same local area network wants to access this Windows which has a firewall installed on it, तो मैं एक policy बना रही हूँ that anybody can do FTP, right? FileZilla. FileZilla means FTP server. FileZilla. So I'm making up a policy to allow, to permit. So from Kali, if I'm getting into the Windows, FTP is allowed. But if I'm pinging, it's not allowed. Why? Because it's not been allowed on the firewall. Questions here? That's what it is happening. आपने क्या करा? एक और वो बनाया and you have started
doing again getting into the PowerShell and you have changed this network to the public connection. पहले मैं private को कर रही थी, अब मैं publicly देखती हूँ क्या ये हो रहा है. Again getting here, my unidentified is public instead of private. I again get into the network settings. I will get into the firewall and started allowing an app, which is again certain apps like FileZilla is here. Now I will checkbox public, right? तो मेरी private IP से ये timed out आएगा. Why? Because now the profile is for public. So from public, anybody can access me. From private, nobody. So it's actually the policy base, right? Questions?
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, public and private IP both have same authorities to connect with firewall.
No.
Okay.
Private is always your LAN. You have a router for routing, you have a switch, you have your local area network, right? Here the multiple users are sitting, right? This is your LAN. And this is as soon as it is connected to internet, and again somebody, let's say some another router or a switch or some user is being placed, right? Anywhere. So this somebody from here is going to come is public. Why? Because he's accessing me via internet. And this is my private domain. So I have told you that day the private IP range is 10, 172.16 and 192.168. These are all my private ranges. Yes. And anything apart from this is public IP. यहाँ से हो सकता है कोई 202.1.1.1 हो जो access कर रहा हूँ, right? Publicly accessing me. So if everything is allowed and this firewall which has been sitting here has allowed the FTP of FileZilla publicly, then I might be screwed up. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are nothing but these are certain policies which you have to take into account that, okay, fine, these are something needs to be blocked out. If I want a security, I will make it to private. I will not access anything public. So anybody from private you can be accessed. So I will also check at the time of the attack if I have been called as a crime investigation officer. I will also check, भाई इसका profile दिखाओ. The time the attack has opened, whether it was private or public, right? So it will show me that logs that it was a private network. अब मेरा काम आसान हो गया. I don't have to go outside. I will start questioning the people inside the organization. ऐसे ही होगा ना, नहीं? Isn't it? I will start asking the people inside the organization because somebody has done some mischievous activity from the LAN only, from the private network only. Instead of the public. Public में से आया ही नहीं कोई. Firewall का मैंने प्रोफाइल देख लिया, वो प्राइवेट था, इसका मतलब गड़बड़ी अंदर से ही हुई है कहीं ना कहीं से. नहीं?
Yes, ma'am.
तो ऐसा होता है एथिकल हैकिंग का वर्ड, राइट? इसी चीज को एथिकल हैकिंग कहा जाता है. एथिकली आप हैक करो और ये पता लगाओ दैट हु हैज डन द रॉन्ग थिंग्स. मेरे को भी दे दियो, थोड़ी देर में ले आया. You can explore the TCP IP attacks like the fingerprinting. Scanning कर रही हूँ मैं अपनी नेटवर्क की, एक्टिव स्कैनिंग.
So what is the active scanning of my network? Fingerprinting or scanning allows the threat vector to actively develop a much clearer picture of available IP targets and attack surfaces. Again, the nature of TCP/IP protocol suite makes it susceptible for this type of attack. For a web server to server pages, it must listen for TCP connections arriving from the browsers at port number 80. If a server is listening on 80, it can be scanned on 80. Scanning is an active attack and hence it can be seen. Commonly, the threat actors or the attacker must scan through a firewall. Firewalls normally document the packets that they block and the connections that they allow. Servers often maintain connection logs. IPS, intrusion prevention system, may also detect scanning activities. These are the devices basically. Attackers can limit the attention that they draw by slowing the rates of scanning and using other obfuscation techniques. Right? तो यहाँ पे क्या कर रहा है? देखो nmap यूज कर रहा है. यही दिखाया था ना मैंने आपको. देखो स्कैनिंग हो रही है एक पर्टिकुलर मशीन की. For a particular subnet, you can scan your whole local area network with the help of this. So he is scanning the whole local area network. तो सारा दिखा दिया भाई इस मशीन की आईपी पे ये पोर्ट्स ओपन है और 3 होस्ट्स हैं इस पर्टिकुलर नेटवर्क पे. क्या क्या है? There is one default gateway, which is the router. One is inside Windows machine. One is inside Kali, means Linux machine. एक router बैठी हुई है, एक Windows का machine है और एक Linux की machine है. Scan is named as a ping scan, but Nmap actually sends 2 types of flows. The first is the echo request, just like the ping command. The second is the crafted acknowledgement destined to the port 80. If a system receives this packet, it responds to the reset. Some simple packet filtering firewalls may block ICMP echo request but allow the acknowledgement flow. जैसे TCP request response acknowledgement I told you. ये quick scan में मुझे ये पता चल गया भाई ये देखो port number 21 मतलब FTP open है. 80 RDP, right? Some APIs, some port numbers where these APIs been listening with. ये मेरी विंडोज की आईपी है, ये मेरा लाइनक्स मशीन काली है ना उसका आईपी है, उस पे ये पोर्ट्स ओपन है, विंडोज पे ये पोर्ट्स ओपन है. मैंने फिर दोबारा टारगेट फील्ड में इंटेंस स्कैन डाला. इंटेंस स्कैन पे मेरी और इंटेंसिवली स्कैनिंग हुई फॉर द टीसीपी पोर्ट्स. देखो क्या आ रहा है, देखो और इंटेंसिवली बता रहा है कि भाई तनी क्या क्या ओपन है. तो एनालाइज कर रहा है बार बार ये आपके ट्रैफिक को. और इवन ये देखो डिटेल भी दे रहा है कि भैया फाइलजिला सर्वर के लिए यहाँ पे ये ओपन दिखा रहा है इस पोर्ट को. राइट? तो ऐसे मतलब बहुत सारे सॉफ्टवेयर हो सकते हैं. पब्लिक फुटप्रिंटिंग क्या हो गई? हु इज NS लुकअप. मैंने कल भी दिखाया था आपको. cisco.com के लिए he is performing all these things. What are the name servers? These name servers are nothing but the DNS servers, NS lookup servers. Right? कहाँ बैठी है, कौन सा region है, which exactly where this particular organization has been there. What is the registered country? What is the registered phone number, email? सब मिल गया उसको. NS lookup से उसने बाकी डोमेन का इंफॉर्मेशन भी इनफैक्ट निकाल लिया. Even what is the quad A record means IPv6 record, right? So it has got to know about all the information, right? OS scan भी कर सकता है ये, right? So there are a lot of times when you can do the particular scan, right? With the active by scanning and passive. Passive means just go to the command prompt and start doing something, right? I don't have an active scanning for all the ports. I can write down the simple command. I can do the passive scanning. छोटा मोटा information निकालने के लिए, right? nping command कहते हैं उसे instead of using nmap, right? These are the OS on which you can get to know the particular thing. Open ports. Malicious root injection कर सकता है बाहर से, right? He will start getting an access of the router and he can define certain kind of the injection attacks by using some low-key Python script, which is a malicious script which runs on the Linux right? जैसे ही मैं malicious script run करूंगी, this software gets installed and I can manipulate whatever I want. ये देखो, ये ARP manipulation कर रहा है, ping manipulation कर रहा है, MPLS, these are certain network terms, right? Routing manipulation कर रहा है, which these are certain dynamic protocols. Questions? ये मैंने install करा है on my Linux machine. Your questions. मैं ही बोले जा रही हूँ आज. Workshop ज्यादा लग रहा है, open house कम लग रहा है. You ask me the questions. See, these are certain softwares which, as a hacker, I can install on my system and I can use it to attack. But आपको अगर basic network नहीं पता होगा ना, तो आप attack भी नहीं कर सकते और उसको troubleshoot भी नहीं कर सकते. You cannot, just cannot. Anyhow, your questions makes much more sense as compared to my things. नहीं? आप बताओ. Anything you would like to ask me the day we have covered that day?
Students, please, if you have any question, you can Google, maybe drop it in the chat box, or else there is no point to for this session to go further because
अच्छा, what is the difference between internet and VPN? बड़ा basic questions है. Before you come for the cyber security, you should know this. That day also I have told you. Perfect. लिख Google कर लेना. Difference between internet and VPN. Write down. Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Yes, Chair.
VPN means virtual private network, where
yes,
some site privacy for your net, not like a public network. There is some privacy in your net activities.
Right. And what is an internet?
Internet means it is in public domain. Anyone can watch your internet activities.
Very good. Good. Nice response. VPN is your private network. But who has laid down the private network for you? Tell me, your home router where your Wi-Fi is connected is a VPN or your internet?
Internet.
Very good. And your organization where you work or your college campus is internet or VPN?
Maybe.
Your organization where you work is VPN because that has been pinged probably 10 lakh to the service provider for maintaining the private network. Whereas your home is given just 10,000 rupee per year to maintain. Huge difference. There is a separate case paid for you only by the service provider so that your data is secure. VPN. And internet is open world. That's why it is charging me very less. Security is very less. Good. Very good. I like it, Jay. Anything else you want to ask me? Yeah. Do Google and tell me what is NAT. NAT. NAT.
What is NAT? NAT. The N for network, A for America, T for translation. What is it? Anywhere you can find this can be used in my security. What is VOC Kushal? What is VPC Kushal? Acha, virtual private cloud. Why? Because that is what I am asking you. Fine, this is being used in my virtual private cloud. What is NAT? What do you understand? Why, from the security point of view? Go ahead. You tell. Right.
Network address translation that
Mhm.
translates one or more local IP addresses into one or more global IP addresses.
Very
and
good.
vice versa.
Very good. Why you need it? Why you need to convert your local IP addresses into the global? First thing is security concern. Your ID.
To access internet for a private network to access internet and also vice versa.
Yes.
Make
Because
it private as need raises. Making it private and public to access internet.
yes, Jaya. Very good. So basically, your private network are not routable on the internet. Your private networks are not routable on the internet. One sec. So once your private networks are not routable on the internet, you have to map it with it. So private network, tell me why? So private gets converted to the public. Why? Because let's say I have to enter your organization, your premises. Now what happened? You will not allow me to enter as Aparna. You will allow me to enter as an ASCOM instructor, right? So that's why I have to change my identity to travel on the public world. Private is not being natted. Private is something which is being saying that, hey, I am not routable. That's why convert me into the public domain. Any questions here? Nat. Second advantage, I got this from that my identity is hidden. मेरा identity hide हो गया. Security measure. But if you have not implemented this in your network, you are at risk. Even you can see this is a private to public identification translation. But can I do private to private for the security reason? Yes, I can do that. I can do private to private for the security, just to hide my identity. Security measure है ये. To just avoid yourself from being attacked by somebody else, right? तो उसको पता ही नहीं चलेगा आपका आईपी क्या है. पता चल गया तो डेफिनेटली वो आपको स्कैन भी करने की कोशिश करे, right? Any other thing you would like me to ask? कुछ और जो आप मुझसे पूछना चाहते हैं? What is the role of DHCP? DHCP क्या करता है? If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I don't have anything explicitly to talk here. Because you really need to study on the basics first, and then it makes sense having discussion. Work out on your basics. What is firewall? What is a rule? What is a policy? No, DSCP. Yeah. You might have Googled it. That is different. DHCP. I'm saying DHCP, not DS. Dynamic Host Control Protocol. What is it? What is it for? One second, I will be back. Till then, you can Google it. Yes, your answers. What is DHCP? Can a DHCP server can be attacked in an organization? And what are the impacts if DHCP gets impacted? You are working in an organization as a cybersecurity or an ethical hacker. Tell me the consequences after this, what will happen? Anybody who can tell me what is the impact of having a DHCP attached in a domain? Or in different. DHCP server is for dynamically allocation of the IPs in the environment. What if my DHCP gets attacked or compromised, that it will not be able to provide its genuine services in the network, due to which all the servers will not get an identification and they will not be able to access each other. Right? Anything else? What is a brute force attack? What is a brute force attack? Okay. So I think you have to study, right? Please refresh your basics so that I can be more confident in teaching you the cybersecurity. Because if you have to know the cybersecurity world, you have to really get strong onto at least the basic concepts of the network, the application protocols, the IP addressing, the specifically some network basics about the routing and switching, and then the firewall, and then yes, we are good to go to the cybersecurity. Right? So if you don't have any questions, I think let's wrap up.
Sure, I guess this is the. I can't see any more questions coming.
Ah, yes. That's
All
very
right,
good.
thank you, Aparna, for the session and trying to. I know it is a bit hard for today's session, but yeah,
Yeah, it's okay, ma'am.
kudos to you.
No
Kudos
problem.
to you,
It's okay.
seriously.
No problem. No problem.
And all the students who have participated very well, thank you so much. Good evening, good day. We are wrapping this session for today. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. All the best. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, dear.